Good evening. I'd like to call the public hearing to order. The town of Comox respectfully acknowledges that we are standing on the unceded traditional territory of the Comox First Nation. The first item is the adoption of the agenda. All in favor? Okay, and we are, sorry, just finding my link here. So this public hearing is to consider the following agenda items: the Northeast Comox Stormwater Management Plan. This is the official community plan amendment bylaw 1976 and Comox zoning amendment bylaw 1983. Public hearing is hereby convened pursuant to section 464 of the Local Government Act for the purpose of hearing representations from those persons who believe that their interest in properties affected by the proposed, number one, Northeast Comox Stormwater Management Plan, A, OCP Amendment Bylaw 1976, and B, Comox Zoning Amendment Bylaw 1983. The proposed bylaws have received first and second readings, but have not passed third reading or been adopted by council. Notices of this public hearing have been published in accordance with the requirements of the Local Government Act. Also, copies of the proposed bylaws, supporting documentation, and any submissions to council received from the public have been available for inspection at comox.ca as required by the Local Government Act. Pursuant to section 13.1 of the Local Government Meetings and Bylaw Process, COVID-19, Order Number 3 and Ministerial Order Number M192/2020, this public hearing is being conducted virtually. All persons who believe their interest is affected by the proposed rezoning will be given the opportunity to be heard this evening. To maintain order and to ensure everyone a reasonable opportunity to be heard, I ask that each person wishing to speak use the raise your hand feature within Zoom. For Zoom meeting link users, hover over reactions in the bottom footer of the Zoom screen, click the raised hand icon and wait to be asked to speak by the chair. For Zoom phone conferencing users, press *9 and wait to be asked to speak by the chair. Once called by the chair, you may unmute yourself. Meeting link users, click the unmute button in the bottom left corner of the meeting window, and phone conferencing users press *6 and clearly state your full name and address. You may then begin your presentation to council. Please make your presentation as brief as possible. After all have had the opportunity to be heard, anyone wishing to have further input may once again raise their hand. Council will not debate with each other or members of the council. I say again, members of the public. Council will not answer questions. We are here to hear from you. Technical questions may be directed by the chair to the staff. Everyone will be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard at this meeting. No one will be or should feel discouraged or prevented from making his or her views heard. In addition, you may wish to provide a written submission during this public hearing. You may do so by sending an email to council@comox.ca. Note that written submissions must be received before the end of the public hearing. Number one, official community plan amendment bylaw 1976. This is the application summary for OCP amendment 1976. In summary, the purpose of the official community plan amendment bylaw 1976 is to amend the development permit area number 16 to add a preference for east through west road alignments to facilitate passive heating and cooling of buildings. B, Comox zoning amendment bylaw 1983. In summary, the purpose of the Comox zoning amendment bylaw 1983 is to amend ALR buffer specifications for fences and planting material, as well as relevant sections for required building setbacks from lot lines shared with the ALR. Public hearing submissions. Written. To ensure that written submissions are included in the minutes of this meeting, please ensure that all are submitted via email to comox@comox.ca. I say again, to council@comox.ca before the end of the meeting. Verbal. The proposed bylaws are now open for discussion. So do we have any speakers?
Gert Williams was the first to raise their hand.
Gert Williams, welcome, and we have your name, and please say your address.
pending. Okay,
I want to point out that you got the date on this virtual meeting as the 7th of September, and it's
7th of April.
7th of September right now, up top, and it should be the 8th.
Okay, thank you for that.
My concern is ALR. It's about we have 2 artesian wells, and we want to know if they can be, if you can't provide the water that say you think you can, and I would be reimbursed and provided with more water with no expense, either way for installation or the whole year or years. Because at the moment, it's not costing us anything.
Gert, we didn't get your address.
1271 Knight Road.
I'm sorry, say again, on what night road?
12.
1271 Knight, KNIGHT
Right.
Road.
Night road. Okay, we got you.
And I
Okay.
can't, and the buffer should stay. Excuse me.
Here,
The buffer, my daughter,
I'm gonna talk because she's choked up. Okay, I'm Moira, I'm her daughter. The buffer zone should stay as set by the LR at 30 meters. We have had so many issues with people just thinking that ALR land is a park zone for them. We don't need people walking onto the properties. We need the 30-meter zone there because, even Guy Sims, people moved into Foxwood area and they complained about the smell. Well, the farm was there first. That's why there still needs to be a 30-meter zone. And we also don't want to lose our soils from the wind blowing. And then, the townies want a taller fence. Well, I'm sorry, the bears and the cougars have been here first. And if they don't like the bush line, that's what's in this bush here. We have bears and we have cougars here. We have raccoons.
they climb the fences.
Yeah.
Black.
We don't need people's garbage and dog poop and all the other stuff that goes along with people moving into town and moving close to the farmlands. The farmlands are there to grow and have animals. Animals cannot be stressed out. Farm animals. If you have chickens, they'll go off they'll stop laying eggs.
And your retention. Retention.
The retention ponds was a question that we were not able to find the answer to online on all the documentation of where the retention ponds were going to go. If the retention ponds are built and they flood over, which they will, as the rainy seasons get bad, the ditch on Knight Road where the Pritchard goes into the Queen's Ditch, it's not maintained now. So if the breach happens and it breaches over the bank, my mom's house will be the first place to flood and then mine will be the second house to flood. So we want assurance that there will be reimbursements of all costs to be covered by the town of Comox if flooding should happen.
How are you going to get the water to go east?
Yeah, and how are you going to get the water to go east is the other situation.
It's going to go north.
There was
The ones that Crown the basement.
the basement at Crown Isle, they had flooding,
From retention.
from the retention ponds. Now, the other issue is what was the other one? The retention ponds and retention ponds, buffer zone.
That's it.
No, there was one other thing that I wanted to bring up to do with the there's the alternative services that's mentioned on one of the maps, which is as clear as mud. What is that alternative services? It doesn't point out on the map what it is. And there's no one to answer the questions. I've gone through all your documentation. There's nothing to show what this alternative services is. It looks like it's in the wetlands. And I hope that you guys aren't planning on backfilling the wetlands, because that is a marsh and there is a spring that overflows in the bush beside us that actually helps irrigate our fields through the summer months.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have other speakers? If there's speakers out there, maybe raise your hand or say something in case we're having issues seeing you on this end. Herman's is the one we just, Herman's is a new one? Okay. I see Herman's. Could you state your name and your address, please?
Hi, it's Leanne Gutierrez and Kyle Herman, and we're at 1640 Kingsley Court. We're new to the process of looking at the changes to the bylaws, and we did find the written report difficult to understand some of the language. Our main concern was the comment there about rezoning for street-oriented townhouses, as Cambridge, which is behind us, our backs onto our property. And we were concerned about the increase in parking that would go along with that. Currently, Foxwood has a nice flow and density of the population with some larger lots and single family homes. We have spoken to many of our neighbors, and none of us would support building of townhomes.
Okay, thank you. And are we seeing any other hands up? Okay, we're not seeing any other hands up. If there happens to be somebody there who wants to speak that we can't see, maybe just say your name. Okay, CAO, I'm not seeing or hearing anyone, or you're not seeing anything different? Okay. All right, so close the public hearing. I would remind those present that legal considerations prevent the members of council from considering any representation made after the close of this public hearing. Before closing the public hearing, I'm going to call 3 times for any further speakers on any of the matters contained in the proposed bylaws. I'm going to allow 15, that's 15 seconds between each call in order to allow those viewing on YouTube to catch up to the opportunity to speak. For the first time, is there anyone who wishes to make any further representation?
Yes.
Okay. Gert Williams, go ahead.
I'm concerned about the water being on these lots. You're gonna pave it.
You're gonna pave, you're gonna put garages on, you're going to, like, it states in the article that you guys will have no control over single-family dwellings on what they do in their yard. They don't necessarily have to have a permit to put down RV parking pads, patios, tar, like concrete pads and stuff. That is going to affect the water absorption into the water table for ALR land. As previously proven, the Hilton Springs has been affected by the development of Highwood and Cambridge. All the stuff that's at the top of Pritchard has affected the ALR lands over on Knight Road and Peterson's Farm and Seifert's Farm. We also had to fill in our dugout because there was not enough water after the developments done on Pritchard over the years. So now we're concerned that, again, the water tables are going to be affected for the farmlands. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any further speakers? Okay, for the second time, is there anyone who wishes to make any further representation? And for the third time, is there anyone who wishes to make any further representation? And we don't have anything that's been sent in by email or anything like that. No, okay. All right, there being no further speakers, I declare this public hearing closed. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you. And we'll reconvene in